Hello. So now we are starting our third part of setting up the infrastructure. This should be the final infrastructure video where we basically put everything together that we can deploy easily our app. And of course we'll probably put some components to the app so that we can test it. But as you know, there is no plan, no agenda. Let's just jump in and see what happens. Before we start, we can check, of course we have to start our infrastructure that we already developed. And since it's very convenient to do it with Tofu, we can just issue the command here. So we go to our Pontus repository and we create our cluster. So here we go. While we wait for this to be initialized, we have to set up our application repository now. So I already pre-selected a name. It basically should be consistent with our mythology, so it's called Kohes. So that's where the Argonauts have to go. That's their destination, and the metaphor, I think, holds pretty much quite well. So this is the application repository for the Euxine data platform. Yeah, so it is public. We don't need to readme. The ignore files, that's something that we have to adjust ourselves. So let's not have it automatic. And yeah, so we choose the Apache license 2.0. So let's get it. And of course, you can see one advantage of choosing ancient or weird names is that we don't have to, nobody else has created them, so have something unique going on here. Alright, I of course need to clone this right now, so let me just do this quickly. So we still use our SSH key, and we can just do this here. Okay, so now we have our 4 repositories. Yeah, this is I think I can safely remove these attempts. We have our website, we have Pontus, which is the infrastructure repository, which needs to work together with the application repository Kohes. This one is another extra app which I'm probably going to present at some point, but right now that doesn't concern us. So let's check on our infrastructure. Can we already ping the Euxine app? Yeah, I would say let's just go directly to ArgoCD and we can even log in, right? So our aim for this session is to have our basic components up and running here. Stuff like the PostgreSQL server, ingestion infrastructure, well, ingress infrastructure, not ingestion, ingress for Kubernetes, and maybe even a sample app. I think it should be actually pretty okay to start with a very basic FastAPI app that we can just expose with just the health endpoint so we can access it. Later on we'll of course make it secured, but just a simple FastAPI app shouldn't be a big deal. The main point is to have these running, and we should be able to tear down everything and put it up again with some data retention. So if we have all of this, and of course the CI/CD pipeline, that's also one thing that we have to set up and develop. Once we have these, then we are completely set for application development, and we can move on to the more interesting stuff. So let us check out what is going on with Cloud right now. So I would say I'll start it this time in the general folder here, because it has to work both on the Colhis and Pontus repositories. And we might even have to set up something on the server, but let's see if that's necessary or not. Let us start our Cloud session, and I'll have another prompt here, although I guess last time when we split the screen it was most likely the best way to do it. So let's just do it again. Yeah, I trust this folder, and we want to split it vertically. Yeah. Okay, so I'll use maybe the other tab just for some checks and stuff like that. I don't know. Alrighty, so yeah, now we have to do the prompting. So what we want to do is to set up CI and CD so that we can deploy it. But of course, first we need to give some context to the agent. So we'll make it explore a little bit. So please check these repositories with the exception of Euxine map. We will be working on them together. I want you to understand what they contain so that we can proceed with adding new features. Yeah, and while it does that, let me just quickly go into the repositories just in case. Alright, so this has, I would say, you know what we can do. Let's just add it to git ignore. It's always a pain to deal with this, but yeah, let's just solve it for once and for all. I was actually looking for uncommitted files or something that's dirty, but I think we are fine. And now if you go to our Colhis, it should be completely empty. Yeah? Okay, now it asks permissions again, and of course what I said before, I think I'll just keep manually approving, because otherwise I'm a bit scared if we put, I mean it's still quite advanced, but there are some reports of people having their databases deleted and stuff, yeah. So most likely it's not still a very good idea to give it full reign over your machine. If it was a VM, yes, maybe I would have no concerns, but right now, I don't know. Alright, so you can see now that it is ready. Yeah, so I need to explain, yeah, because the Colhis there, it's completely empty. Let me explain. Is our brand new application repository. I would like to set up a CI/CD that has the application CRDs in the infrastructure repository, and they get adjusted each time we push to our application repository and a new Docker image gets built. So do we get the picture, or should we discuss in detail? I mean, I assume of course that's a standard pattern that most likely it's pretty clear, but if not, I think we can just elaborate on this. And it looks like we have to add, most likely we have to start with the application itself. So I'll probably have to add FastAPI first. Let's see what it tells us. Yes, the magic word is GitOps for sure. Exactly. So we push the code, CI/CD runs in GitHub, it builds the new Docker image with the latest code. Then the image tag gets updated to match the new build, and that's exactly what ArgoCD is comparing actually, right? So when it finds out that there is a new image, it automatically deploys it. But you have to put it into the manifest. It actually compares the manifest, not directly the image. But because there will be a change in the source code of the infrastructure where the application CRDs are defined, it will see that there is a newer Docker image hash. It will compare it to the currently running one, and if everything is automated, it will automatically update it. And for this project, since we're not that concerned with, because we're doing the development right now, we don't have users, I'll just make it completely automated. Otherwise, I might have some checkpoint or some kind of gate basically to verify manually if everything's correct before deploying on production. Which probably makes sense, right? Especially if we don't deploy every minute. Okay, so let's answer the questions. Container registry, where should the images be pushed? Yes, we have a public repository and we want to push to ghcr.io. Image tag update mechanism. So when Kohe CI builds an image, how should Pontus get updated? Two common approaches. Cross repo commit, that's actually what we want. ArgoCD image updater watches the registry and auto updates the tag. Well, honestly, I'm not quite sure. Maybe this is even a better option. I have used the cross-repo commit, which is done in the latest step in the CI/CD of the application, but maybe this is better. I don't know. I think I'll ask it. I have experience with a cross-repo commit, but I will have to ask for your advice here, which is the best option. So what is application itself? Is there already a tech stack? Our tech stack will be based on Python. In fact, we can already create a sample minimal FastAPI application for testing. Then GitHub Actions. Our repos are already on GitHub. Check the origin, which it can do actually itself, but you can see gaps in its so-called thinking, you know. If it was a human, it would probably have checked already what we have. So we are going to use GitHub Actions. All right, and now, like I said, it would be interesting to see what we can do. So I will use my PyCharm for now. If I even have to, I'm not quite sure about this, but let me do it just to make it a bit quicker, because I'm still quite familiar with that and I'm thinking about migrating to VS Code, because honestly, doing so little coding, I'm not sure what's the point. Still, in my opinion, the better tool. At least I'm used to it, but it's paid, so yeah. Or maybe I can switch to an unlicensed version. I don't know. I'll need to think a little bit about that. Okay, so I get the general picture. GitOps flow. Yeah, so push code, yeah. the image tag gets updated to match the new build. So apparently it recommends the other option. Yeah, I think creating like an artificial commit, it's a bit clunky. I mean, it works quite well, but maybe not the most elegant option. I don't know. So, okay, so we answered all this. So, oh, actually it recommends the cross-repo commit. Okay, I'm fine with that because I know it works. Yeah, it's traceable. Yeah, that's also a good point. No extra infrastructure. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely then simpler in that case. And if I'm not mistaken, this is also what people in general are doing. But I mean, I'm not a DevOps guy, so who knows? Simpler debugging, yes, yes. Like I said, in my experience, it works quite well. Okay, so yes, with Dockerfile, of course, GitHub Actions, yes. Yeah, indeed, I'm not going to put a test branch right now. I think I'll do directly feature merges to main, as I said. I mean, this is right now still a development repository, greenfield, and we're not going to have customers, so we simplify things. Yes. I mean, of course, it needs now to reorganize the Pontus repository with infrastructure, but let's see. Yeah, exactly. I think it got it. Yes, please proceed. Okay, I actually remembered something. So just in case, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a new subdomain. So you can, yeah, so the idea here is to, I'm not sure if we got that right with the app. So I'll just add one more API, and I hope propagation is faster for subdomains. So just to have it ready once we might need it. Yeah, this is just saving us a few minutes of waiting if we really need that. Okay, so now let us confirm the plan. I mean, yeah, that's, I think, a good name. I mean, it's internal anyway, so we know exactly what it refers to. So I would say it's fine. Yeah, sure, we have to do that. Okay, so the plan is ready. Let's quickly go over it because it's quite a lot. So yeah, the context is correct. We want to create a pipeline. And of course, I have absolutely no idea how to use the GitHub Actions. I'm used to GitLab and Azure DevOps. But I guess it will be similar. Yeah, so here is the application file. And it's fine to put it in the top level because that will be our main application. We're going to serve any kind of front-end files through the API as well. But yeah, I think there will be some fight configuring it. We'll see. Yeah, it's a slim Docker file. Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it already knows what to do with this. That's the advantage of using standard components and frameworks. Okay, so GitHub Actions. Okay, so this one I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah, okay, so it means this is just the automated GitHub action, what it has to do. GitHub token, yeah, that seems to be predefined. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yes. Now this Pontus pet I think we have to set. Yeah, just change the actual deployment file and that's correct. Yeah, I'll ask it how to do this and how to set this up later, but first, I mean, we have to add these things to the repository. Okay, so applications CRDs and everything gets added automatically. Now the only thing I'm not quite sure is if I have to restart it or I can somehow sync it, but I think last time I asked, most likely I'll have to restart it. Hope we can figure out, probably this is just one-time setup actually, so yeah. I mean, it's actually quite a lot to do. We can expect some hiccups, but I don't think, actually I'm pretty sure this will finish and it will be working, but let's see what happens. I noticed that they start adding like more smart tools like checking commands and stuff like that. It's pretty good. My personal theory is that if you put a harness on the actual LLM, it will work quite well. It's just that you cannot expect it to be working always very well in a very generic way, but it could be an amazing specialized tool, as we see. Okay, so let's see what happened. And I would just check it here. Okay, so everything gets created. All right, now I ask it. Okay, so what we can do first is let's just commit the changes before we start. Okay, I see that .idea is not added. I want to ignore it. Yeah. Oh, we don't have a git ignore file. Let's tell it to add it. Please add an appropriate git ignore file to the call his repository. Yeah, so .idea is also included. Perfect. Edit simple app skeleton, I would say, or template, whatever you call it. It's actually a skeleton, not a template, because it should work, you know. Okay. When I push it, I'm pretty curious what's going to happen. All right. So a hiccup. I'll ask it if I can push already. Can I push to the repos already? Should I restart my cluster? I'm pretty sure I have to, since we changed cloud init. Alright, so let's see what it tells us to do. Yeah, order of operations. Push Pontus first. Yeah, that's where we are. Okay, done. So the manifests need to exist in the repo before ArgoCD tries to sync them, which makes sense because it runs the sed command, you know. set up the PontousPad secret. Okay. I don't want to lose this in the context, but please give me a short tutorial how exactly to set up. Yeah, so let's just, I'll move it to the side. You can see here how it works, but yeah, I'll move it to the side so I can look at it and do it. So we need to go to GitHub settings, developer settings. So where is it? Is it here? Most likely. And developer settings, yeah, we found it. So personal access tokens, yeah, that makes sense. Fine-grained tokens, we'll use this just for the CI/CD part apparently, which is okay. Generate a new token, yeah, that's what we want. Okay, it needs verification. Okay, my camera is recording. But I should get actually an email waiting. Alright, so this is basically, yeah, it even suggests how we name it, which makes sense. Description, we don't need to describe anything. So set expiration, well, I'll put it for a year maybe. Or let's put it in 90 days because, well, yeah, no, actually no expiration, because the problem is, yeah, I want to be motivated to finish all this in a few months at most, but maybe I will just let it lie dormant, and we'll have to spin it up quickly if somebody is interested, if I want to demo something and record some video, and I'll for sure forget this part. And I don't think it's a security risk with this kind of open repository. Okay, so now we need to basically constrain it, repository access. We have to select repositories. And yeah, our target is what we pick, so where we want to do changes, and that is on the infrastructure repository. Okay, permissions, now we need to select what permissions we want to do, and read and write, we just need permissions for the code actually. So contents, and read and write, in fact we just even need just a write, but I guess maybe it doesn't work without the read part for this, I don't know. Okay, generate the content, the token I meant, yeah. Okay, so let me just copy it temporarily somewhere so we don't forget it. I don't want to generate again. And now we need to go to actions. So we go back to the settings, secrets and variables. And that's more or less exactly what you do in the other Git repository or CI/CD systems, platforms. It's very similar. Just let me find where are these secrets and variables. Okay, I don't see anything here. Okay. Oh yeah, it's probably on the repo itself. Yeah, I forgot. Of course. So let's go to this. repository. No, sorry. I mean, I need to go to the application repository because it is doing the changes. Yeah, so let's go to settings, and here we have to find secrets and variables, actions, new repository secret. It must be the same name, and we just put it here. And yeah, I'll have to regenerate it after finishing this video, of course. Okay, so paste the token from step 1 and save it. Fine. That's it. So we have the token. Now let us check. I'll bring that back. So we were able to push here. Let me check if we can do some action with Pontus, if we need to restart the cluster or anything, because afterwards I need to fix again the problem with a push for the repository, if I remember what I did last time. Maybe I can watch YouTube for that. Let's check it out. Okay. So now we are actually ready here. We don't need to do much. Alright, so let's do this first. It might take some time. For this, okay, I'll do it here. I think it's better for recording. I mean, what annoys me is this gray color here. I think I'll have to somehow remove it because this is not good for the recording. But yeah, let me figure out how to do it. Okay, so now we can log in again. And yeah, indeed. Oh, it's actually yeah, I need to run this from the Pontus because that's where the code is. So it just gave me the whole command itself. Well, I'll try that. Worst case, if it doesn't work, we are going to restart. It doesn't take so much time, but let's try first the easiest way. Oh, wrong shortcut. And let's do this thing. Yeah, some shortcuts are not working for me. I don't know, but honestly, I don't want to set up everything. Oh, damn it. Okay. Alright, so I think I'll just go for the easy way because this honestly annoys me right now. Did we check this in? I think yes. So cluster tofu destroy. Yep. So while I'm trying to fix and check if the CI/CD works, this will just get restarted just to show you there is no server. Perfect. Interestingly enough, the primary IUPs are still on. Yeah, and I need to figure out a way to maybe skip the known hosts check for this. I have no idea. Oh, great, and you can see some of my passwords even. Great. But I think this will get recreated anyway. So let's do the apply part. Let's hope that we didn't screw up the cloud init process, but we'll see shortly. In fact, I'll let maybe a ping on. And yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll just wait for a few seconds because I didn't put this in the background. So anyways, let's check. I need to think a little bit how to fix the problem with the repository push. Oh, you know what? I don't know if we have an origin. Okay, I figured out what was the problem. It's again the same thing over and over. I don't understand why GitHub doesn't copy that automatically, but yeah. So we just need to edit here. Okay, that's all. Right, so meanwhile, we probably should have this running again. And you can see that the application deployment is already created. I usually look at them as a list, and yeah, of course, we still don't have any. We just need to create the Docker image. And one thing that I don't know if this setup is easier or not, of course, ArgoCD needs to pull the Docker image from the GitHub repository. Oh, well, it's working even. Amazing. So our setup, it's already up and running. I'm curious to see what kind of actions were performed. And it's perfect, it works without any big deal. So this would be great for an application that in fact runs inside the Kubernetes, which we'll shortly add. But first, at least it proved that we have the basic setup running, which is really good. So I struggled, I think, for some time. I tried to do it last time. I don't know if I used Claude. I think it was before Claude. Yeah, so it was a lot more challenging. Now, when I have some experience and I can explain what I want, and it also is much more advanced, it looks like it works very easily. Okay, so next, I wanted to ping our API, which works. Amazing. I'm of two minds, honestly, if I should just use the app.euxine.eu or api.euxine.eu. I mean, I need to think about which makes more sense. I don't know. And an API by itself is not very good because if it delivers the front end also, somehow it doesn't fit. But we can always ask our friend Claude and he'll give us some advice. Alrighty. Let's chat with it for a short session. And yeah, now the interesting part here is the ingress, So we have to get Let's Encrypt certificates for the application so it runs properly. Once we have that, we are just up and running. That's exactly where I can ask it, which is better to use API or app. Let's see. will I be able to access it over HTTPS and on which subdomain? I'm fairly sure it probably hasn't set this up because we didn't ask for it, but let's see what it tells us. So yeah, that's correct. It's only cluster IP, it's not visible to the outside. You need to add an ingress source, exactly. Which subdomain? Okay, now it's the big dilemma that we have. Let me ask it. I think that the best stack for us would be a React front. Okay, before continuing, React frontend together with this FastAPI backend. Do you agree? Maybe it has better suggestion. I doubt it. Yes. Oh wait. You know what? That's actually solving the problem because the React frontend can be served by Nginx directly, yes. What application will serve the frontend at app.euxine.eu? And cannot, the static files are not going to serve themselves. I mean, it could use traffic, which is built into Kubernetes, or maybe we can use Nginx. I think Nginx is the more performant version. And of course, we have to set up deploying the files. Maybe if people upload things, files or something, it needs also to handle some kind of persistent volume area, but we can deal with these questions later. Let's first put something else. So we can see we need the web server, and Nginx is like the default choice nowadays. If you remember Apache, and probably Nginx is right now for such simpler things, it's much faster. Yes. Let's use Nginx to serve the files. Okay, now that's a question. Before we address this, do you recommend having a separate repository for the front end, or have it in cautious? I mean, fortunately, such basic decisions will have a lot of reverberations in time, but since, I mean, we should be agile enough to be able to change this if we need that. Keeping it in, yeah, I would also agree for that. Yes, please. You can see that just, I mean, we have to think through these things before we actually do it. There are consequences to each such simple decision. Maybe not so simple in this case, but yeah. That's why we have to do it beforehand. I mean, we could have already set up the whole API backend, but then we find out, oh, we need to do something. We need to split the repo or do some basic overhaul, who knows. At least the good thing is, in this way, for the front end, we don't really need anything special. There will be a build step with npm or something, but that's a pretty simple one. I just saw a very cool bird. I'm not sure if it is an eagle or something. Okay, so now we have a huge plan, and yeah, let it execute. Yeah, while we wait, a few thoughts on the framework and stacks. So I have done applications with both, like Vue.js and backend manually and everything. I mean, I'm not big on front-end development, and I don't want really to overcomplicate it, but to me, when using automated tools like this, React seems the better choice somehow. I don't want to even to develop anything, but the biggest pain in the ass for the front end is the state management. So in order to make this work, if I did it manually, I explored quite a lot of options, and funnily enough, like a simple Django app is in the end the best. I mean, you would think it's more for beginners or something, but it's so advanced and has so many things. You don't need to figure out permissions. I mean, at least in the more simple cases, it's all there. So, for instance, permissions and everything, I mean, we'll have to build a very complicated, if we want to. We'll have to build a complicated system to manage them. So in that case, Django is not going to be enough by itself. In that case, I think FastAPI is actually a solid choice, since we are also concerned about performance. I mean, of course, with vibe coding, we could use a completely different language even, but we could build in Rust or something. But I prefer to have well-known standard modules, which the AI can deal with very well. And I would say FastAPI should be performant enough for our use case. Yeah, what else to say? I don't know. So we'll build a lot more infrastructure later, for instance, for background workers and so on. Right now, let's just focus on having it running, and hopefully we should be able to simply reboot the system with everything running. And of course, for me personally, I'll be happy when I see that our Postgres instance will be rebooted with the same data, no weird stuff, and so on. All right, so now it is there is some problem. Yeah, that's funny, right? You didn't finish this. It most likely didn't check that other stuff is running on the same ports, because I have other Docker images running in the background of Docker containers. Yeah, but I think it's very unlikely they're wrong. Okay, let me ask it just, so I just commit these changes and push. Yeah, I mean, that should be the case, you know. It added quite a lot of things. Oh, I need to push the Pontus first. Okay, so yeah, of course it makes sense, because we now need to have Nginx and everything. Yep. Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we have new applications which also will change, and the ArgoCD needs to know about that. That's why we have other deployment files that will have to be automatically updated by this cross-commit mechanism. Yeah. Okay. So this is one, maybe that's worth mentioning here. So you can see what we have is a problem. Why does it pop up? That's because the cross commit already changed the branch in our repository. So what we have to do is we have to pull, and I prefer the rebase logic. So basically our change will come on top of this automatic commit that happened in the CI/CD. That's clean, and since I'm mostly working sequentially, so there is very rarely a problem with Git in this kind of work. All right, well, unfortunately, this seems to be such a case. And actually, you know what? Yeah, that's a little bit stupid. Maybe I should have, I should have actually updated the repo, or even better, I should actually use the different branch. But yeah, let's see. I have a conflict in the Pontus repository. Can you resolve it for me? And you can see how we get used to these tools. I don't even want to look at the code. I mean, the problem is that it could screw up, but I mean, it should be pretty simple, and it knows what it did, so maybe it is actually better than me for manually resolving this. Okay. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what to say. Yeah, sometimes you just do stuff automatically without thinking, and that's not good. All right, so let's just see what we did, and we didn't screw up everything. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's the deployment you can see. So we had a conflict with this one because we changed the deployment files. Now it's resolved, but not with the best commit name, but whoever cares here. Okay. Now let's, okay, I mean, it will just tell me to continue with the cautious, probably. Okay. Add it, or maybe split in front end and back end. Well, here I'm not quite sure why. Okay, so in this one there is no editing on the GitHub side, so we are not going to get a conflict. Yeah, a pull doesn't even make sense to do here, but yeah, that's what I expect. So now what I'm not quite sure what it did is, why did we have a container for the front end? So let me ask it about, so okay, so it deploys Nginx as a Docker. Why do you build Docker image for the static front end? Let's go a bit into this, because this might be something worth investigating. Yeah, exactly. So this is a case where I didn't think this through quite well. All right, so the front end still needs to run as a container in a pod, right? I mean, yeah, otherwise we could have deployed like a plain. I think for this application, this actually makes sense, to be fair. If it was like something which is bundled, like we have in Django, I would say it might be different. If we don't want to serve it via the Django server, then we should handle the static files in a different way and so on, but here maybe not. The only problem I have is that we have to somehow figure out a static mount for storing files, but yeah, I think we can do that later. Let me ask it about this, just not to screw things up, so it gets easier to do it later. My application might have to allow users to upload files like CSVs or images. Where will these be stored? In the current Docker image setup. would it be possible to mount a persistent storage volume to this Nginx container so it can serve them? This is not important now, but I want to make sure I can add this feature easily without changing the architecture. Let's see what it says, but yeah, I think it should be possible to do it. I mean, in the end, it makes sense. Okay, let's just read. So users upload files to the front end, FastAPI stores them on the... Okay, so in this case, FastAPI probably will handle it. Yeah, that makes sense because everything will go through endpoints. The backend serves them back via API. Okay. Won't mount the volume to Nginx, but to the backend. Okay. All right. I think we are done here in that case. So we are clean on this one, and I'm now curious what's going to happen. Okay, I have both repos deployed. What should I expect? I guess we can first, of course, let's go to ArgoCD to see if both of them are up. Okay, so backend and frontend are running, which is good. Actually, OEM, I'm not sure, but can you try to log in via SSH to yeah, I mean, I hope it doesn't try to open a terminal, but just to run a command. Let's see what. Yes, exactly. Okay, I mean, you can see it. It's really getting smarter and smarter. I would say it's, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. I need. Oh, maybe it will change it. It will do it for me, okay. Yeah, maybe I can ask it if there is an automated way to do that later on. Okay, so everything seems to be working. Yes, let's do that. I want no, I insist on automated redirection from port 80 to port 443 for all publicly exposed HTTP ports on the system. Yeah, let's see how well it does. I mean, if something goes on, I mean, interesting thing is that actually we don't even need to have it running on the system because it can just use SSH commands. I mean, I'll tell it if it doesn't do that, but I suppose it will be able to do it or remember itself to use SSH commands for checking. If not, it can do it on the server, and like I said in the previous setup, I'm also running it there, but actually it's not necessary. Okay, let me ping it just to be sure. I think I did it, but yeah. Okay. Okay, I think we are ready to start. And after that, the only thing we need to do is to check if everything is running as we expect. In fact, let me quickly prepare something. So, I mean, I could just do it with the IP. Yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah, I completely missed the type. This is the actual command. Okay. Yeah, so that is expected. Oh, wait. Can you deploy them? Want you to finish the complete job and check if the apps are available on their ports. Okay, but I think it did it already. Anyway, all right. I mean, it's the same IP, so. Okay, now I don't understand. Okay, I told it to do everything itself, so it's even going to do the git pushes somehow. Yeah, it's gonna do the same thing I did. I just hope it doesn't get a conflict. But yeah, it doesn't. I mean, usually, if you don't do anything on the deployment YAML files, just a simple rebase will do it. So even if you forget to pull the branch first, just the rebase, it works. The problem was that I actually edited the same file as well. Okay, let's wait. All right, so now we're finished. Let's check if we have it. Now, by the way, this must be committed already, yeah? So, wait, now I just want to see the commit it did. Okay, at least it didn't add itself as an author. I don't care, but yeah. All right. Okay, so good. So let me now do a big check. First, the app. Okay, it works. Perfect. Now if I go to HTTP, it gets redirected. That's exactly what we want. Man, it's so easy to do. It's just crazy. Now let's go to API. Yeah, that makes sense because, yeah, we need to go to the docs or something, or maybe, yeah, you can see it works. HTTP gets redirected, so it just works. It's just, wow. So finally, let's create our last test, and that's basically the most integrated part as well. Now for FastAPI, I need Postgres to work as the backend database. It will need to use the persistent volume so that when we restart the whole cluster, the database retains its contents. Moreover, we have to update FastAPI to work with it as the DB backend. Do you need more input? I think this should be a pretty simple request. I don't think there is much to clarify. It already did the heavy lifting, so I think it's quite good now. Oh, it actually has questions. Good. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. By the way, one thing that I forgot to check is what kind of package manager. Okay, it looks like it uses pip. I'll have to change this to UV most likely, but let's see. Alright, so I'll let it do everything itself because I don't have much time now. So yeah, I think we will just see shortly the database appearing in ArgoCD. Okay, now we are finished. So we have our database deployed. Let me also check now on the front end. Alright, so everything seems to be running. What I can do is a final check, which I hope this thing can do. Just to make sure that everything runs well. I would like you to add an endpoint to our FastAPI application that will give us a JSON array, so standard response of all country names with their 2-letter and 3-letter abbreviations. We need to add the data to our PostgreSQL database. I'll also explain why we do that, just to give it context. The idea is to check whether this data persists after a hard cluster restart with tofu destroy and tofu apply. Yeah. Now, since we already gave it quite a lot of autonomy, maybe it will just jump into doing this, but let me see what happens first. Okay, so it is now finished. Let's just ask it, you're sure that you did not hard code the data, right? Because I saw that it uses some kind of by country module or something like that. And of course, if it just generates it on the fly, that's not good. Alright, so just checking on the current state because it should be unchanged. No, sorry, not unchanged. Just it should have committed its stuff already. Yeah, all right. So I'm really curious now, if we go here and we trigger the countries, we should get them. Okay, that's very good. And finally, go to Pontus, go to cluster, environment, cluster, tofu destroy. Now our cluster will get shut down. And if this works correctly, I think we're done here, but let's wait for a second. Yeah, we can see that it's already in the process of getting destroyed. Okay, yeah. So it's actually, it gives us a very good indication. It probably checks also with the provider API what's going on. So there is no server running now. Now, of course, starting it up will take some time, but I'm really curious what's going to happen in ArgoCD and everything. Let's hope it is what we expect, yeah? So this obviously is not yet booted up. And yeah, of course, ArgoCD is also not booted up. What we can also do, yeah, so we could use the cloud init command, but I don't want to change the non-hosts again. So I'll just ping this guy and see when it is up. I mean, of course, it could not work. I mean, that's always a big question. So far, it was quite good, actually. So let's see. I can maybe, I mean, it doesn't matter what we ping, but yeah. I think by now it might already have been deployed, so maybe something went badly. Oh no, now it is accessible. So let's just go to the main. Okay, that doesn't sound good. The apps are also not running. Oh, wait. ArgoCD is up. Yeah, I guess they're now getting deployed. I can see already that the front end got deployed. Yeah, okay, so that's good. But the backend has a problem. Let me give it a screenshot. Oh, just a sec. Okay, so actually it seems to have fixed itself automatically. You can see that it's all green. Okay, and finally, let's go to the docs. And the countries are listed. I mean, for a basic check, I would even go to the database, but I don't think we need to do that. I think that's enough proof that everything is working. So that's it for today. We basically finished the final infrastructure part, and from the next video, I think we'll be able to start developing. Take care and take care of your code.